So, how's it going out there? Where you land and wherever you are in today's world? Well, I made another video and I decided to give it a title. And this is something, and I was thinking about this as soon as I sat down. And it's called what they have and people do at schools and companies and police departments called racial sensitivity courses. You've been hearing that a lot lately. When something go down, a traffic stop, and something that the officer is one ethnic group and the suspect is another ethnic group, they have to pull out something tragedy to person, maim, harm, or kill. First thing they want to say is we have to do a racial sensitive, of course. This is how I feel about that. Why should I have to tell another grown human being? And this should be like grade school. You know how in grade school they tell you don't pick on somebody? Whatever reason, it's not right to pick on somebody. And you teach that to your child. Why you have to tell that to a grown adult that someone is different than them and you should not harm them? You should not use your authority to abuse them and take light of it. And what I heard something recently was been online, and a couple people had this on their website. The United States, in America, racism has cost them $16 trillion. $16 trillion in racism. And you figure a country like America would try to figure out to make a better resolve of solutions. But racism keeps costing more and more and more. That's why I always say it's not going to end. It has to keep costing big bucks and big money. Because some individual can't face their own reality that another human being is equally deserving of sovereignty and equality on the planet. Regardless of what a person's sexuality is, regardless of a person what kind of ethnic clothing that they wear, regardless of what their skin look like, regardless of what their culture, what their language speak, they are a solid citizen on this planet. And they deserve to be well respected. And these people who are perpetuating racism, whether it's on the police department, whether it's in a jury, whether it's a judge, lawyer, or anybody, this is my suggestion to them. Why don't you if you can't adjust your reality, you need to move into some part of the country that you can avoid all these different ethnic groups of people. If you don't like Latinos, you don't like Asians, and you don't like blacks, you don't like people of the Jewish faith, Muslim faith, you don't like gay people, why do you stay around people in an integrated society? Why don't you do yourself a favor? Why don't you tell your family, I can't live in this town, can't live in this area no more? Why? Because all these different groups of people I don't like. They just in my way. Why are you why it's going to cost you your job, your career, ton of money for you to wake your behind up to understand that another human being is worth on the planet? That's what I don't understand that. I don't get that whatsoever if you don't like another group of people. And why should somebody have to change it at some culturally workplace, whether it's the office or someone being a law officer? Look, here's the common sense thing. Treat somebody like you want to treat your own mother and father and grandparents. Okay? That's simple as that. And no matter what language that they speak, like I said, what they wear, what they look like, what their sexual orientation, or anything like that, it would be wise not to be racist. But if you're going to be racist, go someplace and someone need to draft the law. Say, and this should be put in the this should be some kind of bill. If you're Karen or Ken that don't like other ethnic groups, I personally think this. You need to get some part of America, and those people who are like that, you need to just go and you need to be cut off from society. Don't try to and say don't let the Karens and the Kens let them be racist among each other. Ain't no sense of you trying to tell them and talk to them. Why it's wrong they know it's wrong to be racist. It's like this is how common sense it is. It's something if you lie, steal, and murder somebody. Do you know that's wrong, right? That's as simple as that. But if you go out but you say I'm gonna go out there and steal and kill and lie and rob and murder somebody, then you want to cry and complain. Well, you automatically you're going to do it before you eventually do it. What's the sense of me trying to change you? I can't change you. Why am I supposed to be a person? Any person can't change somebody. The only person that can change is God has to show you to use this brain of yours and say use some common sense. This is simple as that. Why we have to keep reaching up excuses for somebody? People are like this. It was a couple video that this one young man on his YouTube channel had a recording of a black man getting pulled over by the police in his brand new car, which he worked and earned for it. And some white lady thought he was just suspiciously because he had a new car, and only thing he was looking suspicious. What the hell is that? And he's out there minding his own business, and he's probably waiting for some family member, and some cop come back around and get the call on. See, this is stupid stuff like that. That's why some black people are calling for separation, because of bull crap like that. You got another cop now, another police officer in some place like Louisiana. It was one town, I think, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, making a racist statement. Look, and you do live in Baton Rouge where it's black and white and whatever between. What is with you dumb racist ass people that you're gonna risk your job being racist and thinking that you're gonna hide your racism on some part on the internet of all places? And people, if they don't like you, all they have to do, if it's on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your YouTube channel, or any other social outlet, and someone start calling you out, or some certain website front, and somebody don't like you, then they're gonna expose you. Look, if you got something racist to say about some group of people, keep it among your own. Keep it over the cell phone. Keep it in your own party. That's why I say you racist people are got to be the stupidest people I've ever. And it's been all kind of videos showing how stupid these people are. You got to make fun of. You're making fun of black people. You're making fun of Asian people. You're making fun of some Muslim people. You're making fun of some Jewish person. You're making fun of some homosexual. What the hell you keep going around these people for? If you don't like the people, and you don't want to lose your job, stay the hell away from them. Go into an area of the United States where they hardly know none of these people. And then when you get there, you isolate yourself like what they do out in Alaska, some doggone where, and get your blood away from the people. But why do you have to keep coming around the same, keep hurting yourself, basically costing yourself an income, and losing your job and career, saying some racial epithet, knowing that it's going to probably get back to your workplace, and that they don't want that, and whatever company you represent don't want to be represented like that because it's going to cost them money. Racism is costing money, $16 trillion. So you dumb racist people who are racist, who making these statements against these other people, you don't understand. You're screwing your own self. You have to wake up and realize we in the last freaking days. You have to realize that there's always going to be people, whatever city you're going to go to, there's going to be different groups of people around you. That's just common sense. I mean, don't you guys? I figure that God gave everybody a brain to use some common sense. Now, do you need a sensitivity course for something like that? To use some common sense that you're not supposed to be say something ignorantly on social media, for one. Two, don't say it unless it's in your own little company. Wait till you get your own house where there's no phones, no recordings, and you can be all racially epithet you want. Keep it in your own small group of people, with people who talk like you and think like you, and it won't cost you your freaking job. And then, as I say, you can be all racial, and then move, and if you're that racist against all these other groups of people, including black people, why don't you move into some part of the country and let us know we got a town reserved for us? We're the most racist ass. We got our own flag. We do like they do over in freaking one little town in South Africa. They got, and so there's nothing but white people, and they got their own currency and everything. And they could be just as racist, and no one can come through there but they own. This is the truth. This is a little town. They got their own currency. They do their own thing and sit out there. And at first you're like, damn, that's messed. You might think that's messed up, but hell, at least we don't have to deal with people like that. And the rest of us who got common sense, whether we black, brown, tan, white, or everything between, we have to keep dealing with these ignorant ass individuals that come to the dark web or come to the web or social media and trying to justify what they can't stand and don't like about people. If you don't like people don't watch TV. But you're bullying people. It's trying to scare people. It's not working. It's pissing somebody off, and you push it to somebody to the point. If you threaten them, they're gonna end up just gonna come back on you, and you're gonna think, and it's not gonna be funny. Because it's about to tip in the other. It used to be a time when people used to be racist shit, and it was no consequences. Luckily, it cost you financial consequences, and it don't cause you physical consequences. I was here like that. The logic in that don't make no sense. If you don't like any group of people, and I say this. And this don't apply to all white people. But if you're one of these white people that can't understand that, you need to move it, and just shut your doggone mouth and mind your doggone business. That's all you got to do. If you're one of those kind of people, now if you want to ain't like that, I ain't talking to you. But if you one of these kind of people like that, it just disturb you. You see all these black people on TV, they're doing it. It disturbs you because they in the football game, they listen to rap video. It look like this. That's what. Cut out the doggone thing and live like a damn Amish person. All right. But if you're gonna live in a real freaking world, get a reality check. It ain't nobody gonna lead the United States. And that's another argument I want to state. Look. I gotta say this. It's always gonna be somebody of a different nationality coming to the United States. Okay? It's always gonna be some people. They're not gonna leave the country because you're big.
Had money. This is why women would come after him.
Excuse me. what your education level is, and what your hierarchy, whatever it is, you need to change your mindset. Even if you come from, you can always change your heart. It don't matter if your parents is bigger. It don't matter. You don't change you from. You don't have to copy what your parents do. And you don't have to copy what your friends do. You don't have to copy because you're your own person. And if you can't figure out another grown human being on the planet who's different than you, from a different religion than you, a different economic status than you, then go someplace and live around people who find people like you. And don't go around harassing people. They'll stay away from you. Don't harass them. That's as far as I'm concerned. That would be the most common thing. There was $16 trillion, and people still don't get it. And this is what caused these lawsuits with these cities. That when these officers decide to play, well, in different circumstances, I had to use this lethal force to cause this person to death. And when it was not even warranted. When it was not even warranted, they say they didn't have a weapon. It wasn't even warranted that they didn't physically, to the point that the person had they had a knife or a gun and they're going to attack the officer or get them in a position that they're going to kill the officer. But some of these officers is costing these cities money. And then keeping some of these officers who have that bigot mentality on the police force, it's going to cost you more money. And then what's going to happen is, so they rather, and here's the sad thing about this, some people won't take a stand for it, and so they're cool about losing hundreds and thousands of dollars, which they had to tap into some fund, $1 million fund that had to go to any other special programs from the school, the city, or any other district, because your city and your representatives who represent your city or town can't exercise common sense. It don't make no sense to have all all this abuse stirring up all these years. You can't. If you're a police officer or any other people, you should be able to adjust your reality. Now I understand that there's certain situations that there's some people are not going to be not hostile to you, but it's not. It could be any walk of life can be hostile to you. But just because a person look a particular way, it doesn't give you the right to put them to death. You may judge and jury. This is how I feel. This is reality, and so that's why the United States is sinking down. And if they didn't get and this keep going on, then you have a situation. If they don't settle, the city's burned down. And then the city, once the people get angry, come out mobs, burn down businesses, set towns on fire. Martial law has to kick in. Lives have the murder rate double, because some it's get to the point that it turned into literally a civil war. Then next thing you know, we have to bring the National Guard in. Then next thing you know, you have to go to martial law because some stupid ass cop started the whole thing because he can't just his mentality that sparked all these different things. Could it be solved, ladies and gentlemen? You don't need no racial sensitive of course for that. It's just common sense. Maybe we can do something, and that's what you're hearing now. It ain't gonna change the situation, and you figure that if one police department see it in one city, and they see it in what their fellow cause in a different city, maybe it's time to change the doggone program. If you're seeing one officer, in a city going down the flame, you will figure maybe we need to redirect what we're doing and police it right. And there's some cities that are trying not to go through that again. And yet, do you have crime out there? Yeah. But is there a low element out there? Yeah, but it don't require you to put everybody to death. But you putting an innocent people who are not the criminality part, in regards to, because they have because they are of ethnic background like African Americans. You, I mean, it's, and I just wanted to, you see stuff like this, and then it said, this doesn't make no sense. A racial sensitive court, of course, for a grown man or grown women. If you don't like somebody, don't go out the area. Don't mess with them. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with people that gotta go messing with people? That's what the people, I said, that's why we have so much going on. Because people don't know how to mind their own business, for one thing. Another thing, let somebody legitimately committing a crime. What is what they're calling the cops all the damn time? It's crazy. But I think it's really dumb. And it don't solve anything because they haven't solved that. They probably have racial sensitivity court the last 10 years and ain't solved a doggone thing. It hasn't. It has not improved because you're seeing case after case. So it's something that has to be implicated among some cities and put it specifically people who are enforcing the law. Once you do figure that out, and that's what it is. Until you deal with the corruption of that, then it'll change. And if they keep overlooking it, kind of dismissing it, then you have what you had this summer, rise all over the place, because people are getting tired of it. And then you're gonna have innocent officers too, who are not like that, gonna be a victim of some stuff. Innocent officers who try to want to do the right thing and police their neighborhoods and do the right thing. But you backing up this other officer, trying to keep him on the floor. That he's a loose cannon. Why does it take 16, 17 incidents and probably numerous complaints from the public that say that this cop he's a bad example, costing your city more money? That's what. So you willing to risk all that? Then it comes later on, the feds come into town, figure out all these violations that you do, and they have to go according to the law. Then you got to deal with the feds. Then you got to deal with the attorneys who actually got the evidence that how corrupt it is, and so they sue you. So you're trying to figure out a way to sell out of court. But throw a couple dollars at somebody. It's not going to keep. When you don't understand at the same time, or you're racking up debt in each city, and they don't see that as financial income. Racism has cost 16. Think about it, lady. $16 trillion. A lot of it's because of that. A lot of it because of. That's one of the reasons. Secondly, is because of blight. You got people that, that when they go into poor poverty areas, they find out the land on some property areas, and where the poor people was probably 60 or 78% black, 30% white, and other, they go down there and jack the rent up, and so the poor go out, and they charging rent now about $1,200 to $2,000. They build up a new building, gut it out, and put up a new thing, a new coffee shop and everything. This is what racism did. Racism did this, and it leaves the poor and disadvantaged out. They know this is a problem, and it goes across the line. It goes across the line of Democrat, Republican. Look, it's what it is. It's the have and have-nots, and people who have it and people who have not, and the people who got the voice, and people know the laws and how to do loopholes and everything. They got the privilege. That's privilege, and you can call it white privilege or whatever, but it's privilege because other people are benefiting from this certain percent. I mean, everybody just can. Ain't nothing wrong with making capital. There's nothing wrong with that. But at what cost does it take that to throw people out in the street? And that's just in that. So do you need a racial sensitivity with that course on that? Then you have banking. You have banking, whatever, credit. Certain people that go by a credit score because you're African American, and they got statistics on what group of people, as far as who gets the most and what least of the least. This was years ago, and then they set that up. So now your credit rating can affect your job rating. So, because some jobs you can't get on because he held that against you because your credit is bad. You ever notice when you go and fill out the job applications, like I can see the background check, I can see I can see, the drug, the alcohol, whatever. Why you gotta know my credit? And what if my credit ain't good? You're not going. Is that going to use this a thing not to hire me, so I can at least come back and pay my bills and get my credit up to par? You see what I'm saying? So that's another loophole. Hey, every time I get on camera, somebody call me. And so that's another reason why. Then you have the medical community. The medical community find certain things and say that, well, African Americans are higher death of this and higher, they're gonna get more percentage of this, and probably push death on all African Americans. They got the 2-1 cause. This is the most likely. They both get everything under the sun. As a third thing, so in the medical community find out that there's discrimination in the medical community among African that they based on ethnic background. So, and how is that? It's just by the medication, the treatments, and things like that, and the statistics, birth rates and things, with black mothers and babies and and all different kind of scenarios. We have a race problem. We're not all equal because systemic racism hit in all these areas. So we take a sensitive to it, then all these areas need to be hit and make it right. To make us equally quality, right? But no, it's just a cover up, and it can be exposed. We'll talk about it, but we've been talking about this for over 30 years. Has it changed? It seemed like everything that started in the 60s has come back in 2020. Has it changed? Has the voting changed? Has it changed? Has it changed? Really, think about it. And they said, well, it was better other than someone physically tell you you can't go into the store because your skin of your color. But damn, we almost get to the point that it's just about as bad, because you can't be black and drive your own a nice car. You can't be black and walk down the street. You can't be black and go and get a hotel building. You can't be black. You can't do anything. You walk. You just look wrong. The cops pulling you up over. So it's like, damn. It's like, what is this? Some kind of communist country where you have to check in your papers and they use the soldiers of where you going, where is the about? How is it free when you got to deal with something like that? Automatically, I got to look at you. There's one of those black people. What are you doing? You up to no good. I hope you get him. This is the kind of spirit is in the land. I like getting on topics like this. I know it probably ain't too popular people, but then they say, well, we can keep conversation. What's the conversation is about? Is accepting that this is still going on and change the damn doggone plan. Change it. Change your heart. Change the plan. That's the way what you can do to solve the doggone racism. Otherwise, it's gonna be the same old thing. And when someone come along and say, well, maybe You know, like I seen one man said, "I'm calling for a separation for us to think as a nation, and we as black people gonna kind of separate ourselves from further." Wait a minute, you getting kind of ridiculous. Look what's going on. And the instance I laid you. That's why they want. And I said, and I know that when people separate, in certain cases, they don't have no problems. Do they got issues? Is it perfect? Do you have neighbor clash with neighbor? Yeah, they do, but they know how to squash and resolve it. But it seems like somebody that just because somebody is, they can't adjust the reality that another person is of a different race. Or different wear clothing, or their religion, sexual orientation. Why is it? What is up with that? I don't get it. I don't get people. What is it that you don't understand? What is it these people don't understand? You just saying something. You say something, get online, and you post something. You get all up on your emotions. And these people have been fired off their jobs because of being racist. They lose their business because they're being racist. And they still, I said, damn, they ignorant. Is that the thing that you're going to keep getting away with it? It's like a person who rob and steal. At some point, you're going to get caught. Is it a person who murder? At some point, you're going to get caught. That's just a fact. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught. You can keep doing it, but like, oh man, yeah, this person been robbing, stealing, all everything. So it's the same thing as racism. You're going to get caught. You can't think that you can walk around this life and saying what you want to do. And like I said, you got that much venom against a different group of people. Why do you work in the public? I don't understand it. Why don't you just be out there? A person like that is like, why don't they just go ahead and just say, hey, and separate themselves from their family and say, I'm going to move out this little bump up town somewhere. Why? Because I'm tired of seeing all these different groups of people. You at least be honest with it. Don't sit down. Don't sit around. Because first it probably started out with some jokes about seeing somebody on TV. That's what they do. That's how it started, And they gave us black people every terminology that related to crime. Even made a video about it, nigger rig and everything else. So I'm just saying. So it's like, okay, this is what it's like. Then here's another one that cracks me up. Go back to Africa. Go back to Africa. Hell, sound like probably would be a good idea for some black people to go back. Why? They won't deal with your ignorant ass. Because you think that if you go back to Africa, it's going to be a bunch of being destitute and living up, and people like you see some people in the rural area. No, you dumbass. There's some Africans more richer than there's some Americans over here. You'll be shocked. So hell yeah, I guess, and somebody said, yeah, they gave me my reparation, so I can
live. Your black ass. I've told y'all. One party takes advantage of your vote,